Good afternoon, folks. You join me here this afternoon on my way out to the cliff tops between Portreath and Porthtowan. I'm trying to shoot sunset, and I thought this would be an ideal opportunity to take you along on a sunset shoot with me. Conditions at the moment are undecided. We've got some clear sky, as you can see behind me there, but also, as you can see, oops, slip on that horizon, I don't want to run too far that way, there is quite a bank of cloud again, and I'm not sure exactly how well this is going to develop. So we'll take a little wander down here onto the cliff tops. We'll see what it's like. There is a bit of a breeze, so might need to find somewhere a bit sheltered once we're out here in order to be able to take some shots, particularly if I'm going to do any long exposure work. But we'll just go and have a look, have a bit of an explore, see what we can find. I've never used this lane before, so that'll make things a bit more interesting. Hopefully we get a bit of colour, but there's not a lot in the way of high altitude cloud tonight to actually pick up that colour. So we'll see what happens. Let's go take a look. So here we are. I think we found our first composition of the day, and gorgeous view. Look at that. Look at those waves coming in down there. Absolutely stunning. But we are on the cliffs just above Lushington Cove. Down here behind us is Porthtowan Beach. Over here somewhere, up here, we've got wheel coats up on the cliff tops. Off in the head, distance in St Agnes Head. And I'm facing away, as you can see with the camera there. If I come around, there's the camera. Currently facing away from the direction of sunset. I'm just really drawn to the colour of that sea and those waves. Look at that, it's absolutely beautiful out there today. So I've already set up and composed the shot, and I've got my NiSi landscape polarizer on, as well as a NiSi GND16 4-stop soft graduated filter. This wind is bouncing us around a little bit all over the place. Hopefully the audio is going to be okay, because I've got this wonderful microphone that I'm now using. So let me show you the setup on the camera. So there's the camera, the rig all set up, and as you can see on the front today, not only do I have the polarizer, which is in behind there, but I've got that GND16 4-stop soft graduated filter, and all that's doing is just helping to balance out some of the light in the sky. The polarizer is doing the majority of the work, taking the glare off the sea out there and darkening down the left-hand side of the image, but on the right of the image, which I shall show you on the back of the screen in just a second. Get this thing up and running. So there we go, there's the view through the screen. So just here, just over here, I had a little bit of glare in that sky, which I didn't want. So I've used the soft graduated filters just to take that off. Like I said, I've used the polarizer to darken the glare off the sea and to take some of the light out of the left-hand side of the image. So that just helps to balance and control what you see. And it gives a bit more detail in that sky as well. So I'm on a shutter speed of 1/6 of a second. So not particularly quick, but not particularly slow. And that is just to try and capture and hold some of the shape that's in those waves out there. So we'll take that image, I'll pop that up on the screen, and you can see what you think of it. Oh, I tell you what, folks, that wind has nearly had me beat up here this evening. Really, really strong. So I've struggled to be able to get the camera out and actually talk you through a couple of compositions. So what I've just done is I was shooting in this direction in a portrait image just over here. Some nice light, a little bit of foreground, but mainly my attention was on these rocks just out here. That image will be going up on the screen shortly, and I may well talk you through that image when I get back home and do a little voiceover to go with it. In the meantime as well, you can see it out here where the sun is setting. Just below here is Cornwall Lighthouse, and I've been able to zoom in on the shot, which I might be able to show you on the back of the camera in a second. I've been able to zoom in and get a lovely shot of the lighthouse, almost in silhouette, with that lovely orange colour picking up the atmosphere behind it. Let me just switch the camera back on again a second and see if I can actually show you what it was that I captured. Just a moment. So here we go, there's that image. I don't think you can see it particularly well on the back of the screen as it stands out here. So hopefully once I get it home and I'm able to pull it up on the screen properly for you and edit it up a little bit, you'll be able to see in much more detail that image. But on the back of the screen, that's looking really, really nice. And was looking really, really nice at the time that I shot it as well. If I bring you up a moment, you can see that that sunset is almost gone. It's gone in behind that cloud. The stack on the hill over there is the remains of Wheel Tie. Most of this area again is former mining land. I'm just hoping that this little bit of cloud up here may come across the top of the cliff tops in a moment for me to get a shot, but we'll hang on a moment and see what happens. Okay, let's take a look at these two images. So the first one is that portrait image I spoke about looking towards St Agnes Head. As you can see, I've cropped it as I felt the full portrait image just didn't work. The foreground was very messy with a lot of undergrowth which didn't benefit the image, so I've cropped a lot of that out. Likewise, the top of the image I've cropped. Above that cloud was just clear sky, which was of no benefit to the image at all. The crop tool is a very powerful tool. Don't ever be afraid to use it to improve your final image. And that brings us on quite nicely to the Gadrivi Lighthouse image, which you can see now. This was shot with my 24-105mm lens. It's the biggest lens I have. I'd love a nice 100-400mm lens, but expensive. So this again is an image I've cropped, and I love it. I love the way the atmosphere is lit by that beautiful orange light, which helps to give separation between the lighthouse and the land behind. In a straight line, this lighthouse was about 7.5 miles away from where I was, so I'm pretty impressed with this. Now, having cropped it in like this, I then went back and cropped it to a landscape image, which you can see here. And again, I love it. That light is absolutely amazing. I've been trying to capture an image like this for some time, and I'm glad you were all able to witness the moment. So that cloud doesn't seem to really be coming across very well at the moment, but there it is. We can but hope. It's very clear out here, and as you can see, there's a couple of contrails there, planes going over at the moment. Some lovely movement in those waves still, so hopefully that'll be all okay. One of the things you do have to have an issue with sometimes when you're actually doing these things is dynamic range, and these cliffs here, obviously because of where they are in relation to sunset, are quite dark on the back of the camera image. I can pull out some of the detail in that in post-processing, but it's one of the things that the camera, you have to have a bit of a trade-off between the light that you're capturing from the sunset and the darker areas of the image, and that is a bit of a balancing act. That's why we use filters to help balance that light. And again, as you can see on there, I've got the 4-stop soft grad on there at the moment with the polarizer. Said my image, you're not going to be able to see it for a moment, but I might show you in a second. It is very dark in the bottom left-hand corner, and that's because of that dynamic range where you've got the bright area up here and then the darker area of the cliffs. But in a lot of cases, you can recover a lot of that detail. The camera will still capture that detail. You just have to be careful not to overdo it when you actually bring it up, to make, otherwise it can look unnatural. You get light in areas where you wouldn't normally have light in an image, and you need to watch that. But let me see if I can show you what it's looking like on the back of the camera. So there we go, there's that image on the back of the camera, and as you can see, that left-hand side, the cliff face is very dark, while the sky is very bright, and that is, it's pretty much, if I were to come out here now and take a look, it's pretty much what you would see. You've got that dark cliff, that bright sky, and that's what the camera is struggling with, is trying to balance that out. That's what they call the dynamic range, the difference between the dark areas and the light areas of the image. We've got a bit of light getting in there. Look, I've just noticed the gorse is out. Look. It's gorse in bloom here on the cliff tops. It's February. Look, see the gorse. Beautiful. I do love to see the gorse in bloom. Love the smell of it as well. It smells like coconut. Beautiful. But this tonight is absolutely stunning. I've really enjoyed coming down here this evening and shooting this video. Some beautiful movement out there. I think there was some surf. I think there are actually some surfers down there. I don't know if I can zoom in close enough to get them. There you go. Yeah, there we are. Look, there's a couple of surfers down there in the water now, enjoying themselves. Happy days. Don't think my lens will reach that far to get an image, but I'll give it a go. In the meantime, back with you shortly. Well, I think that's it for this video, folks. I don't think there's much more going to happen now tonight. That sun has set, but there just isn't enough high altitude cloud up there really to hold the colour. What you end up with is this kind of dirty orange sort of colour in the sky, which I'm not a particular fan of. If you do get a nice sunset, the one tip that I will give you is don't all run away the moment the sun has set. I've seen this many times. I was at Wheel Coats, for example, last summer when the place was full of people. Sunset, beautiful evening. As soon as the sun had set, they all left. But if you do that, you risk missing one of the best parts of the show, because quite often 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes after sunset, that sky could well light up again. If you've got a clear horizon and some nice high altitude cloud, or even some medium altitude cloud, it'll pick up that colour of the sun below the Earth's horizon. So that we can't see the sun, the sky is still picking it up. So don't all run away the moment the sun is set, because you could end up missing out on actually what could be some of your best photos. So there's your one tip for today. But again, look at that, absolutely stunning out there. Beautiful. Beautiful, right the way around. There we are. So there we go, there's a little sunset trip out at Porthtowan. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know we haven't done an awful lot, but that the windy conditions haven't helped, and not exactly having that sky that I wanted. You can see now the colour, see that cloud there, the colour's gone out of that cloud completely, which is an indication sunset's pretty much over. So I'm going to pack up, head back to the van, head home, and thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in another video. I know, you thought this video was over. So did I, but on the way back I thought I'd use the last of the light to have a quick wander along the cliff top to look for potential future compositions, and I just happened to find this view. Now, despite the fading light, I was able to capture this image with the aperture wide open at f4 and an exposure time of 4 seconds. I love these little isolated coves, and I'm glad I stopped to shoot this image. I am gone this time. Thanks for staying until the very end. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.